chest. This is him, everyone.
We're alive. And that's a great way to start being live.
Nice. I have no idea what happened there.
Yeah.
What?
See, we are.
Yeah, I believe you.
Nice.
I was. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So, all right. So for real, here we are again. Gameday716 live, June 3rd, 2021. Welcome everybody to all of our watchers. All one person watching. That's probably me.
It's about to say 2. I just jumped in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Viewership up.
Nice. So, Todd the Buffalonian, Noah's here. Game Day CJ, officially P Dubs.
Yeah. Viewership up.
We're all here. So
Nice.
all 4 of us. This is our 4-person week. Me and Noah next week. And then the week
I think
after.
that's wrong.
no, you flipped them. It's them next.
Oh, it's you guys next?
Yeah, I
Think
think it
so.
is us X, and then
Yeah,
then it's you
whatever.
guys.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Paul and CJ next week. Me and Noah. Actually, the week after will be the 17th, which is 3 days before Father's Day. And we were going to do we were
Yeah,
going
that's
to do
right.
a Father's Day show. So actually that'll be the 15th, but because that'll be a Tuesday, not a Thursday. But we're going to do a Father's Day show. So we'll have all 4 of us back on the 15th if we can schedule that.
Works for me. Yeah, well, I'm 100% down.
Okay, cool. So a lot has happened in the world. The Sabres got the #1 pick. That's all we need to say about that.
Traded.
16%, right? Isn't that what they said or something like that?
Yeah, they had 16% odds. And
I'm excited.
yeah, it's just too bad that they got it in a year where there's no #1 clear-cut player.
And all
Yeah.
the good players at the top are defensemen.
And all the players at the top are defensemen. Yes.
Yeah.
So between the two, that kind of sucks. And the best defenseman is a left-handed defenseman. So, or actually, like the best 3 defensemen are all left-handed. So that kind of messes up with Darlene and what to do there, but not what to do. We're keeping Darlene,
Right.
trading everyone else. So,
Everyone else, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
right.
Did they come out with anything for Reinhardt yet or no?
Not officially, no, nothing.
Yeah,
They're not. I mean, they can't do anything until the playoffs are over. So,
Okay.
But I mean, the idea is most likely they're going to trade Reinhardt. They're going to trade Eichel. They're going to trade Ristolainen. But Eichel's tricky because today was supposed to be the last day of his review or of his supervision, where him and the Sabres had agreed to do like rehab kind of work and just wait it out to see how his neck was doing. And I think today was his last day, and now Eichel and the Sabres need to get together and see where they're at. My understanding of the Sabres point is that they're still in the stance of no surgery, or at least not that surgery.
Yeah.
They're
There's
willing
multiple
to do,
surgeries for that injury.
Yeah, there are.
They're not willing to do that one.
They're not willing
I mean,
to.
Adam said that yesterday.
Yeah.
He said we're not. He literally said we're not willing to do surgery on a hockey player when it's never been tested on a hockey player.
Right. So, and it's only been done once before in sports, and it was to an MMA fighter. I don't remember who it was though. It was a pretty famous one. I don't know. Anyway,
I thought they said it was a WWE guy.
maybe it was.
I thought
It wasn't it? It was Adam Copeland.
or Edge or something like that. No.
Yeah, it was Edge. It was Edge from WWE. He had it done. It took him almost a decade to come back.
Okay. Well, Eichel's got a decade. If he just takes a decade off, then
Take it off. Then I'll have fresh legs.
that's right.
Eichel, 100-goal scorer in 2031 confirmed.
2031.
Yeah.
How old will he? He'll be 35. That's younger than Ovechkin is now.
Okay.
10
Well, it
years
is.
of hockey won't do anything bad for him, right?
No, he'll be fine. He'll just hang out and watch, like
Mentally get better.
mentally watch
Mental
himself.
reps.
Watch himself
Mental
mentally
reps.
get better. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the plan. So,
They say your reality is manifested in your dreams.
Oh God.
who says that? And
People.
they
They.
gotcha. So did you guys see and by any chance look at the site at all? The website?
I did actually. I don't know if there's a difference between mobile and desktop.
Yeah, there is.
Is there? I'm looking at the desktop right now.
Mobile just isn't done yet. The desktop is in its
Oh yeah, it looks different on desktop.
yeah.
That's clean.
Yeah, desktop looks pretty
Viewers, if you have not visited Gameday716.com in a while, I urge you to do so. It is
good. Well,
very sleek.
there isn't new content, but it looks good.
Catch up on everything you've
Well, they can
missed if
catch
you're a
up
new
quick.
viewer. Yeah.
That's right. I tried to find all of our old podcast stuff, and I couldn't really find them. And then I tried to download them from YouTube, and it just all went haywire. So
I'll figure it out.
yeah, you owe me the MP3s
Okay.
or M4Ps.
Yeah, just text me which ones you need.
all of them since 14.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. Fine.
So there we go. Getting some business done
Well, live.
while live.
All right.
So what's going on in Bills land? Paul, take it away.
Bills land. So Stefan Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Devin Singletary all arrived at OTAs this week. I think that bodes well for offensive momentum heading into the preseason and honestly into training camp too.
There's more OTAs after this too, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. But to see all those guys on a voluntary basis show up to the extent that they have, I think is great. Jordan Poyer had an interview the other day where he talked about that a little bit, that there was a lot of discussions about how they were going to approach voluntary OTAs during the off season. And eventually they all landed at, hey, we're too close to this thing. Let's go. Let's put in that time, even on a voluntary basis, and let's get at it. And I think that they're going to hit the ground running a lot smoother than they did in the COVID shortened off season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's hope, because last year was such a downer.
Yeah, it was, man, could you imagine having that awful of a season?
Yeah, I watched the Sabres.
So you can imagine.
So are they going after Zach Ertz?
I don't want them to, but I think that they are.
Do you? Our
I think
one
so.
source, Buffalo Fanatics.
Say that again. Who?
Buffalo Fanatics has claimed that the deal is almost done.
Just
That's
for the
coming from
record,
Buffalo Fanatics.
the source that they're utilizing is the same source that announced it earlier in the offseason, and he ended up being wrong the first time. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's going
He
to be
also
wrong the
announced
second
it
time.
yesterday.
And yeah, he announced it yesterday and said it was hours away.
I mean, didn't they get rid of a guy or restructure something to kind of
restructured.
make space, which would imply that they are going to try
Do
or no?
something.
Well, to do
Yeah.
something, we don't know if
Okay.
if it's Ertz or if they're going after a defensive tackle because Starlo Tulule is making everyone nervous, or
I mean,
that
Got
kind
it.
of thing.
That's Star's an interesting topic that we can get to. I've seen a lot of Steven Nelson liking posts on Twitter in regards to the Bills, whether it's a beat reporter saying that, hey, here's a list of 5 players that the Bills should sign during free agency. He's liking a bunch of that stuff, saying that he should go to the Bills. So it just kind of makes me wonder. It makes me think that at the very least, the Bills are on his radar. I don't know whether or not there's any reciprocal, adoration where they want him as much as he wants to be here. But I mean, it's not very often you see players religiously liking that kind of content on social media like Twitter, unless there's something behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he would be a good addition.
I do too. I think that he'd be instant competition for the CB2 spot. And I like the problem of having 3 guys that I could see either one of them, either one of the 3 kind of stepping into that role. Levi Wallace, who's back under a vet min deal because he wanted to take peanuts just for the sake of coming back and winning a Super Bowl or try. Dane Jackson, I guess, is looking great so far in OTAs.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really impressed with that second-year leap so far. So we'll see how that plays out. And then if you add someone like Steven Nelson, I think that solidifies things, because the last few years, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty positive about this. The Bills have only carried 5 corners on their roster on game days for the last few seasons in a row. So
I believe that to be true because they like to utilize the extra safety.
Yes. So if that's the case, I wouldn't mind having Trey White, Steven Nelson, Levi Wallace, Dane Jackson, and Taron Johnson. I think like that's a perfect 5 if you want to roll with 5. I see no holes in our secondary if that's the case. I have a little bit of a concern if we just roll with Levi and Dane. Not that they can't handle it, but just having a 5th solid corner, I think bodes well.
Well, we said that last year with Josh Norman, right?
Yeah, he did have that clutch fumble. What game was it? It was earlier this season. I forget which game it was.
He punched it out.
He punched it out. Yeah. And it was like, it was a momentum changing play.
Yeah.
Dolphins?
And he had a pick 6 against somebody too. Who's the pick 6 against? Pick 6 was against the Dolphins.
All right.
Because he intercepted it like the 15. I think he was covering Devontae, maybe fell down. Yeah. Picked it off and ran it in for 6.
Was it Seattle, the other one?
The fumble might have been Seattle. It might have been.
I don't know. I can just keep guessing teams from last year.
Right. As long as we list all 16.
That might be right. Yeah. Maybe New England. Maybe, I don't know.
The Jets.
There is a
Jets
chance
fans boo.
if they structure it right, they could get 2.
They could.
They could get Nelson and Ertz.
That would be cool.
I wouldn't be mad at that, as long as Ertz doesn't come at the expense of adding one more piece to the defense.
Sorry, but Raiders.
The Raiders.
Waller, I think.
Oh, Darren, he got the fumble was on Darren Waller.
I'm pretty sure.
Respect, Josh.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's solid.
I have an inside source that's telling me there was only enough room on the roster for one Josh for the 2021 season, and that's why they're not re-signing Josh Norman. You heard it here first.
Was that from the Buffalo same guy who said it last year, but then they kept 2, but we're talking about it, and now he's just bringing it up again?
Yeah, for sure.
So, is Ertz the tight end they need, or should they stick with Knox? CJ, I would like your opinion.
I feel as though I think Ertz is definitely a step up from Knox. But I also think that, it'll help Knox in the long term, learning from him and getting a little pointers here and there. And honestly, we need, I don't know. I love Knox. I've always liked him. I've always, like, when I watch him, I I see him move around the field. He's athletic. You know, he can catch a ball. He can, and a couple times he'll make them plays where he stiff arms a guy into the next stadium, into the parking lot, and
Sure.
you know that gets you pumped up, that gets you jacked up. But then there's a couple times where he makes some bonehead plays or something happens where he should have been there and he wasn't. And if we can, you know, get a little bit more production out of that tight end, I think it'll help us more than anything. So
is that on the coaching or on the player?
the drops or
Yeah.
just
all
around?
All of it. Like his.
All I hear about when I remember reading something, I think it was 3-4 months ago, that said they were talking about players, just weak positions for each team. And I think the tight end position was considered to be weak by other people. Now, I didn't necessarily feel that way because I feel as though he's progressing. He's getting better. Like, you can't just, this is his third year, or
he'll be going into his third year.
This is
Right.
year 3.
So 2 years at a tight end position to me isn't long enough to evaluate, to say that he needs to be let go. That's how I view it. But at the same time, I also think that Ertz would be a good addition. Run both of them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Let them learn a little bit. I think that, you know, I want as many playmakers on the team as possible.
Yeah.
But I want it to a point where it doesn't cause issues within the team, I guess. Because I've seen teams go out and get guys, a bunch of like free agents or a bunch of high-end players, and then you expect them to be this caliber, this certain level, just off names, and then they don't mesh right, they don't function well together. And so I don't want that to happen. But
New England.
Yeah. Or, you know, what comes to mind is like Cleveland, right? Like
Yeah.
Cleveland is a big team that comes to mind. Huge free agents. Now, last year, I guess, a little bit different, but 2 years ago, yeah. And then they just don't play well together. And it's like, you know, and it just, they do these same things year after year where they try to bring these new guys in. And it just seems to be too much at a certain point. But I don't know where that point is. I think we got enough guys, team-centered guys right now, that if we brought in a guy that was from the outside, that we looked at purely athletic, he will help our team offensively, I think everybody would be on the same page. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. That's solid. Great analysis.
I have a take that is based on what he did with the Eagles and how that could potentially fit in. Probably, I'm going to let you run with it because you're probably thinking the same exact thing I did. And I'm going to just hand this one off to you for the easy layup.
Go for it, Noah.
All right. Well, I think you want to add Ertz because you have 3 solid options already with Gabriel Davis. No, I'm saying at the wide receiver position.
Oh,
you know, you have Diggs, Beasley, Sanders, and Davis as 4 solid options.
3 solid options.
Diggs, Beasley, Sanders, and Davis.
I know you said 3.
And I said 3 and Davis, but then you have them. You also have Singletary and Moss who can also catch. Zach Ertz, when he was on the Eagles and had his breakout season, he was the leading pass catcher on his team in every single category.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's great for fantasy PPR.
Well, yes, but all the other times he's been the second ranked guy.
Behind who?
A different wide receiver, or he's either been the first or he's been the second in multiple years within the Eagles offense. You're bringing a guy who has the experience at a one position or a 2 position where he would be the 5th, 6th option. And this goes back to CJ's point. You're bringing in these playmakers. You're bringing in another guy. So I think that's why you got to bring Ertz, is he has that experience to know to be a number 1 tight end. And additionally, he can pass that on to Knox. And you can then say in a couple of years, okay, bye to Ertz, or maybe even after this year, you know, you go win the Super Bowl and you go, okay, bye. We're going to roll with Knox now. And now Knox has had a year to sit behind a true number 1 tight end and learn from him. Yeah.
Then you're in a situation where Philly is now, right? Where they have 2 guys and and they're like, okay, well, we got one guy that we got 2 guys. Both of them, I feel as though they must feel as though are close to the same caliber, or they wouldn't be getting rid of Ertz. So they must feel, okay, if we can get rid of this guy and get a similar production out of just him, and it costs less. So let's do it, you know. And I think that's the situation you want to be in. right? Like you'd prefer that situation rather than not having, say Knox doesn't, say we don't go for Ertz, Knox doesn't work out. And then we're drafting another guy next year. That's going to take another 2 or 3 years, so it's tough.
And the other thing to add is when he was the number one option, that was in the year where the Eagles had no wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Where they everybody was hurt. Wentz was playing with guys who they picked up off the street. So I mean, he's shown that if you throw him the ball, he can catch it. So
yeah.
And he's shown he's a red zone. He's a constant red zone threat. I mean, that's where he makes his money, is in the red zone.
He's always made plays in key times from what I've watched. Like they need a touchdown or something, and there's 2 minutes left. He's the guy that's getting that ball. You know what I mean? And he's the guy scoring. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've seen out of him. So it's like that. I'll take that.
So he'll make Diggs unhappy then. I'm kidding. Okay. So the other, the other.
Can I interject real quick? Because I have a completely different take from that.
Yep, you have
2
minutes. Go.
I got less than that. Would it change opinions if I told you that in the last 3 years, more often than not, Zach Ertz was lined up in the slot? 171 targets between 2018 and 2020 in the slot, only 54 targets in line, 5 targets wide. In line being towards the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Typical
right
tight end. Yeah. Typical tight end positioning. A majority of his snaps have come in the slot, though. In fact, a majority of his production throughout his career has come in the slot. Can you know who was the number one receiver in the slot last year? Cole Beasley. Right. Are you willing to take those snaps away from Cole Beasley to line up Zach Ertz in the place where he was most efficient throughout his career?
Okay, my question is though, is that lineup in the slot out of necessity, or is that because he has the most production there? So what I'm saying is that, as Noah just said, if the wide receivers weren't good enough around him, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to put him there, right? Yeah. And the organization he's going to come to, if he comes here, he doesn't have to go out slot, you know what I mean, to make up for the lack of receivers because we have them. So I just wonder how much of that is out of necessity, basically. But I definitely
definitely a part of it. There's definitely a part of it that's out of necessity during those early years when they didn't have receivers, right? Like it would have to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if a substantial chunk of the numbers I'm referencing came from that period of time. But I think that the Eagles always saw him more as a big wide receiver than a traditional tight end.
Which is how they view Knox.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Knox being the more athletic at this point of their careers. I think that goes without saying. My Ertz other concern is the blocking.
The thing I liked about Ertz though is his route running has always been like very good.
Like guys who can run routes.
And the Bills, to what Noah was just saying, the Bills really like guys who run crisp routes. And I think that might be a problem with Knox. One of the things is with the tight end position in general, it has the oldest. This is a real stat because, and I'll tell you why, but it has the oldest age for a starting player to actually start games because.
I would say that's because it takes a minute for them to adjust to the NFL, right? So the tight end position has been known to always be a very slow transition.
Yeah. And so they said like the average starting tight end is like when they are the true starter for their team or the lead receiving tight end for their team is 28, something like that. Wow. So I mean, Knox has like a long way to go still. Right? I mean, and that's a good thing. Yeah. That's a good thing. I mean, it just takes longer to mature, it takes longer to get better and that kind of thing. And I mean, do you know Travis Kelce's only 30?
Yeah, he's going to be a terror.
That's not
for a long
fair.
Time. Yeah, no, it's not.
He's got another 5 years, 8 years.
Yeah. And Gronkowski's the same age.
I knew that.
He's 30?
Yeah, he's going to retire sooner. His body's breaking down faster than Kelce.
Yeah. Well, look at their trajectory over time, right? So Gronk early years was the banger, was the guy that caught these joints right down the middle, right on the seams, and just got laced, right? And Kelsey, from what I recall, first couple years in the league really didn't take too many hits on his body, you know, and then more recently is when he's really started to come on. Obviously, Mahomes has a lot to do with that, but you know, I think that's probably why Kelsey looks so much or feels younger, right? Because Gronk's just, you've seen Gronk for so many years, you just get leveled, and it's just like you know that ain't gonna last. You know what I mean? So
I still don't forgive him for the Trey White scumbag hit. But
oh yeah, that was awful. But he's got his share. You know what I mean?
he got another ring. I mean, he got his share.
No, I'm saying he's got his share of like, rough
Yeah.
hits. And
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I was
But no, that doesn't make
spiking
it okay.
entertainment value over here.
Yeah.
Disagreeing for the sake of it.
I played against him in high school, dude. He was awful, dude. Like awful to play against. He was scary. He was a huge dude in high school, yo. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I think what you were referring to earlier, CJ, that list by position where it had rankings. I saw something similar recently, and it was spending per position group, and the Bills are 32nd in the league in tight end spending.
Bit low, yeah.
Yeah, but where are they in wide receiver spending? They're probably top 5.
12. They're 12.
That's top 5.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to go back to what you were saying earlier, Paul, though, about what Ertz is lining up in the slot. I do like that you brought that up, because I do think that is something to discuss. But I have 2 rebuttals for you. First, Cole Beasley isn't going to be here forever. So if
neither will Ertz.
Well, I'm getting to that point.
All right.
So if you now have 2 guys who have made their living being slot guys, you now have 2 basically 2 coaches teaching the younger guys who are going to come in, guys like Knox, guys like Davis, how to line up in the slot, how to play the slot, how to always be open. Because imagine in 2 to 3 years, Dawson Knox lining up in the slot.
Wait, Tyler,
I can see it.
Maybe an inch taller, but more athletic and faster.
I like where you're going with that.
Would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a wide receiver dream right there.
It is. Well, or you could get a wide receiver to line up in the slot, since it's a wide receiver.
For this season.
Bills are also about saving money, so that also would save them money.
Long term.
Because you're not paying
over there.
You're not going and you're not getting a guy. If you're able to teach Davis or Knox or whoever how to be the next Cole Beasley or how to be the next Zach Ertz, or a combo of the 2 with the athleticism that those guys had, you don't need to go get another one. They're
got
young.
them. So your hope is that those skill sets will kind of like just rub off just from association, which is very possible. We see it happen all the time in the league. I can see that. I also like the idea of this, because you brought that up. I could see a circumstance, given what Ertz is good at, where you would not want to put him in line, because a lot of the times Josh checks to a different protection and he slides the inline tight end back into the backfield. And then that tight end then chips away.
Ertz is also a very good blocker.
Well, that's part of the
bad
option, right? Or no?
I've always thought he was a horrible blocker.
I thought he was good.
I mean, aren't you doing that as an option though? Like, so you can kind of read option if you want to. You bring the guy back, and then if your quarterback runs it, you got a blocker there, or no?
Well, I think it's that, and it's also they can release.
Well,
if the quarterback's in trouble.
There's another point here.
Flat route or whatever.
Yeah, because the Bills don't run that with their running backs.
Right.
You know, so they don't throw to their running backs. So they need someone from in the backfield to throw to. Right. And that's what they did with McKenzie a lot last year.
So it's apparently been 5 years since Zach Ertz produced a PFF grade over 50 with his blocking, which puts him below average blocker for the position group over the last 5 years. So I wouldn't want him.
But does that mean that
how many times has he lined up as a blocker?
Exactly, because we've made the point that he's been in the slot more often than not. So yeah, if you take less chances at something, your numbers are greatly affected by 1 or 2 mishaps than if you quadruple the sample size. So absolutely, that's got a lot to do with it. In a perfect world, if we're going to get Zach Ertz, what I would like to see happen
for the Eagles.
Yeah. And he had Carson Wentz throwing the football. So, you know,
or Nick Foles,
or Nick Foles.
Hurts.
I would like to see this combination on the field. It would be a formation more reminiscent of an 11 personnel grouping, but it would technically, based on position, be 12 personnel. Because you would have 3 receivers. You'd have 4 guys out wide, right? And then you'd have an inline tight end. One of those 4 receivers would be Zach Ertz in the slot on one side of the field. Then you have Cole Beasley in the slot on the other side of the field. And then you have your pick your poison of our other receivers, Diggs and somebody else on the outside. And you have someone like Knox in line, who I trust to block. I think Dawson Knox is absolutely a better run blocker and pass protector than Zach Ertz at this point.
So you're pulling Gabe Davis off the field to put
no,
in Knox?
you're using it strategically in moments. Normally, I would doubt that Zach Ertz sees more than 50% of the tight end snaps. If they bring Zach Ertz in, you're going to try to give snaps still to Dawson Knox to try to elevate his game. You're not just going to say, okay, it's an 80-20 share. So in those situations where you need an extra pass protector in, okay, you're going to want Knox over Ertz in that situation. If you know that your 5-man protection is going to be just fine against the defensive package that's out on the field, then by all means, kick Zach Ertz wherever you want to. But in plays where the defense dictates how you should approach it, having Zach Ertz, who's had most of his production in the slot, and Cole Beasley in the slot at the same time, think like a 3rd and 7. Who the hell is stopping that? Who's because your safeties are going to drop back with Diggs and whoever else, Emmanuel Sanders maybe, or Gabe Davis. And then you're going to have a couple linebackers and maybe a safety watching the middle of the field trying to cover Zach Ertz and Cole Beasley. You're never, ever going to stop that. So I think that we could see groupings where we have Zach Ertz on the field in line, or on the field, but in the slot, while Dawson Knox is in line. And I would be absolutely shocked if we bring in Zach Ertz, that's not something that they sprinkle in throughout the year.
Yeah, I can see that goal line for sure.
Could you imagine in the red zone?
Yeah.
Having all of those guys on the field at once with the height?
Or you still have Knox out there. You have 6 blockers and you don't have a running back in the backfield, and you put Josh in the shotgun and you have 3 on one side and 2 on the other.
Yeah. That's even more like, who the hell is stopping that?
That's what I was thinking.
Because that's then you're getting Diggs, Sanders, Beasley, Davis, and Ertz.
You're Kansas City. Yeah.
So I'm saying
And you
that's
have the
who's stopping
personnel
it.
to Kansas City stopping that? With who on defense?
Tyrann Mathieu
Yeah, okay.
and their other guys.
He might take away Zach Ertz, or he might take away Cole Beasley. But their secondary is not going to be able to hold, like, that's too much talent.
Their secondary was
Marcus Peters
able
Is he
to
on their
stop
team?
Tom Brady and Mike Evans
Yeah,
doing whatever they wanted.
Brady's best quarterback to ever play.
I understand that, but that's also one wide receiver who smoked them.
And Gronk.
And now we're saying 5. And you're sitting there acting like Kansas City can stop 5 when they couldn't stop 2 in the Super Bowl.
The pass rush got home.
I'm gonna
For who?
Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on defense, I don't remember that score being very close.
It
All right.
got out of hand in a second.
So, all right.
So I guess we're all aboard the Zach Ertz trade now. Mine is contingent on them using him properly. And if they don't use him in line, I think I'm okay with it. If they use him in line, I hope he's not pass protected and he's supposed to block and release and just fall into the flat for a 4 to 5 yard gain. I don't want to see him in pass protection or even run blocking. I don't feel confident in that at all. I mean, maybe I don't know nothing compared to the front office, right? So if Brandon Beane thinks that he'd be great inline blocking, I'm an idiot, and Brandon Beane just work your wizardry. I just don't see it, and I don't think the numbers see it either.
You need to cut that out as a soundbite.
What?
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I love it.
And play it back like every time he makes a hot take.
Anytime you mute me and you just play that soundbite.
Yeah, whenever you say elite. Oh,
Or Rachel Bush.
Yeah.
That's a new one. Yep. I didn't say her name.
Yeah.
So what happens if Noah uses a banned word? Do you have to technically mute yourself?
I tackle him.
Oh,
Okay, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
don't want that. using bad words.
I get
Banned words.
Banned words was a banned
I
word.
get out some duct tape. Throw it over that beard.
No.
Exactly. So the last time Ertz hasn't been, well, okay, excluding last year. So this is the last point of the Ertz talk because we've been going for 15 minutes now. But the outside of last year, the last time Ertz wasn't in the top 3 or top 2 in receiving for the Eagles was 2014. So
That's like his first or second year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he was third then.
And he was third that season with 58 receptions.
Right.
With
that was the year like
Nick Foles and Mark Sanchez throwing to him. What?
That was the one good year Jeremy Maclin had with the Eagles.
Yeah. Jeremy Maclin had 85 receptions that year. But so the years after that, okay, so Maclin in 2014. In 2015, Ertz was second. Can anyone guess who was first?
What year again?
2015. And this player was second behind Ertz in 2016.
He was a Bill for a minute. Like a literal minute.
Oh, that's right. He was a Bill for a minute.
Who's that? Wait.
Cooper?
No. Eagle that was a Bill
Jackson?
for a minute.
No,
It wasn't Jordan Matthews, was it?
it was.
Yeah.
Really?
Jordan
Get outta
Matthews
here.
led the Eagles in receptions in 2015 with 85. And then
Wow.
he had 73 receptions in
He was a Bill for a
2016.
minute.
Yeah.
I forgot he played for the Bills for a minute.
From 2016, 17, 18, and 19, Ertz led the Eagles in receptions.
I mean, why
Who led
wouldn't you want to add that?
Can anyone tell me who led the Eagles in receptions last season?
The Eagles
I could tell
last
you
year?
Fulgham.
Nope.
Who else was there?
Who else is there?
That's a good point.
Goddard.
Nope.
It was a wide receiver.
It was a wide receiver, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like Sanders or something weird either.
No. Oh man, I just all I can think of is Fulgham was like their top guy for a few weeks. I can't think of who else was out there.
It was Greg Ward.
Whoa, never would have guessed that
Yep.
in a million years.
Okay.
Yep. So in 2019, Ertz had 88 catches.
Mm.
The next closest was Goddard with 58. In 2018, Ertz had 116 catches. The next closest was Alshon Jeffrey with 65.
Do we think that your tight end getting over 100 receptions is conducive to an efficient offense?
Well, the Eagles weren't efficient.
That's true. They had no receivers. They
Yeah.
put bodies out there and just
Well,
throw
they
the
had
ball to Zach.
Alshon Jeffrey was second.
What year
On
was
the
that?
team.
17?
18 was his big one.
What year did they win the Super Bowl?
That's what I was just
17.
thinking.
I think it was 17.
No, they won it in 18.
Oh,
Okay.
well, there you
That's what I'm
go.
about to
Did they
say. You
really?
all talking shit about their offense. I'm sitting here like,
Yep. Hey, I wasn't talking. I was just looking it up to see if that's the year they won.
No, I don't believe
Well,
it
their
is.
offense still wasn't
Oh, it was
efficient if their
February
tight
of
end
2018.
Yeah, so it was 2017.
It was the 2017
Okay,
season. Yeah.
okay.
When
okay.
Ertz-
So that was the year
2018 was
after.
the year where they had no wide receivers.
So it was 2017 where Ertz led the team in receptions with 74.
So what
Okay.
we need is Zach Ertz to come in, lead the team in receptions,
Do
and
we
then the
need
Bills
to
will win the
count
Super Bowl
rest
the
of the
following
times he did
season.
too, because you didn't think that was impressive.
What?
You didn't seem like you thought that was impressive.
I said 16, 17, 18, 19. He led the team in receptions.
Oh,
I've already
okay.
said
No,
that.
it was just the way you said it. You were like, ugh.
Well, we said
Well, I think
116.
116 is incredible, and
And then
anything
74 was the year before that when they
Oh,
won the
yeah.
Super Bowl.
Okay.
That's what we're saying.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a slight difference between 116 and 74. That's all. That's all.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All is well. Okay. So,
very, very last point that I'm going to make. The Buffalo Bills in the 2020 season were near the top of the league in targets to wide receivers. I don't know that we've
have a tight end.
Well, yeah, but
they
are
did
you going to
throw
want
to
to
Knox,
take?
though.
They
Okay,
did.
but they didn't throw to Knox as much as, well, obviously the rest of the wide receivers.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
I'd rather them throw to the receiver still.
Well,
We
yeah,
went
because no
13 and
one
3
trusts
even with-
Knox.
Except Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Allen.
Well, I
does.
think you have to trust. You have to. You
Knox
can't
said
be
today-
like, I'm not going to throw you the ball. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to make a play.
What did Knox say today?
Today, he said that 5 days a week for the last 6 weeks, he's been
that's-
working with a hand-eye coordinator.
Ooh.
His exact words were, I don't want to drop any touchdowns, and nobody wants to see me do that.
That's a good point. I think he has a good point there.
Because really, it seems like that's all his problem is with these drops, right? Like if he can fix the drops, he's above average.
Josh throws him
minimum.
a ball where he's wide open, and then he drops it. But
And
then there's
he throws
18,
the athletic 18-yard over
Right.
the shoulder,
and there's
flipsy
5
doodle.
guys
Flip and
on him,
turn
and he
and
makes
catch.
the catch.
One-hander. Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those guys.
So no more easy throws to Dawson Knox.
Seems like
You
what he
throw
thinks
those
about it
balls to
too
Zach
much, yeah.
Ertz. when you need a fadeaway over the shoulder where he contorts his body and does a 180 in midair, then by all means throw the ball to Dawson Knox.
Right.
I'm interested to see how this hand-eye coordination thing, because if he really feels like his problem was that the ball's hitting his hands, but he's just not like the hand-eye coordination isn't there, because he had limited snaps at Ole Miss. They had DK Metcalf. They weren't throwing to him all the time. Maybe he's just going to be even more so of a late bloomer of a tight end than we're used to seeing. We just talked about how that process is usually extended compared to other position groups anyways. But name a more raw tight end that's come into the league and started pretty immediately that had less experience playing the position than Dawson Knox had at Ole Miss. I can't think of any. So maybe Zach Ertz, just for the fact that like you kind of get him a little bit more up to speed and you don't have to lose any production while you go through those bumps with Dawson Knox. But I don't know. I'm still pulling for Dawson Knox. I think he's athletically gifted is all hell, but the drops just can't happen. They just can't. So if they got to bring in Ertz for that,
Zach Ertz, and you say
teach him.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Teach him, or he stays, or he goes and you stay, and we'll sign you to a. Because if Zach Ertz comes, it's not going to be a 1-year contract because he's under contract. They're going to have to restructure something, and I can't see them reducing that to a 1 year. So I imagine it'd be a couple-year project, but they could probably get out of the contract after 1 year, depending on how they arrange.
Yeah, that's what they have with Beasley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Beasley they can get out of after this year if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing with Brown, where they only gave them like 2-year deals, and then after that, it was like, we can cut you at any time.
They extended Beasley by 3 years, but made him more
every year's
cuttable.
voidable.
Yeah.
But then they take Mario Addison and they restructure that contract to where it doesn't make any financial sense to cut. You save nothing if you cut him right now. Whereas you get rid of Jerry Hughes. Yeah, after this season, he's probably gone. He is gone. They may extend Jerry Hughes. We'll have to see how that turns out. Depends what happens. But if we get 2 out of the 3 top picks of the last 2 years,
I know. But I mean, if Rousseau pops off and Basham and Epinesa, you're not going to need.
Yeah, but
you use them as a situational. I mean, you use them like Dwight Freeney or something.
Well, I mean, I guess it also depends on what Hughes wants to do. I mean, if he wants to finish his career here, then he's going to take a team-friendly vet deal.
Right.
Yeah, and work for and I honestly see that. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I think this is it for him. Like once the Bills are ready to move on, I think he's ready to move on to something else with his life. Yeah.
Still one of the most lopsided trades in Bills history.
Yeah, it is. What's Kelvin
Yeah,
Shepherd
where's
up
Kelvin
to these
Shepherd
days? What is he doing?
high school
He-
football
he owns
coach.
Welcome to
car wash.
Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Yeah, right.
My pleasure.
Oh, that's funny.
Noah, talk to me about Kanye West.
Okay. So, on my drive home today, I listened to a song by Kanye West, and one of the lines in the song was, "If God had an iPod, I'd be on his playlist." So, I'm sitting there going, "Holy cow. That is probably one of the most cockiest lines somebody could ever say."
Really cocky.
So then immediately,
I think
I
our
s-
show would be on his YouTube list.
Oh, for sure. He'd be subscribed.
Yeah.
he'd be a subscriber.
Yeah.
So immediately I transition into sports, and I'll pose the question to the group. How should I pose the question? How,
You should transition this to Michael Jordan.
Oh, I forgot about that. So to transition this to sports, yesterday I watched that line reminded me of a TikTok I watched yesterday of Michael Jordan where he was playing the Jazz, and who was he playing against?
Byron Russell.
Byron Russell. And
Do
Russell
you
was
guys remember
talking-
this game? Like, do you know what he's talking about before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I don't know how, like, from an age standpoint, if you know the Jordan Byron Russell story slash.
Yeah. Very
Okay.
familiar.
Yeah, so essentially Michael comes out, doesn't do well. Russell's talking all this smack.
I remember that. I saw Last Dance or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I
yeah,
know what you're talking
and
about.
then like halftime hits and Michael's turns it on and they end up winning by 8. And one of the last shots Michael's hits, I think it was the shot to go ahead.
Be careful with your words here.
I know. It was the shot to go ahead. Michael walks by the Jazz bench, looks at Russell and goes, "Shut up, you little B," and then goes back down the court.
I thought I remember from the
Love it.
Last Dance that he had never said nothing to him, and that was made up.
Oh.
That might have been because it was a Jazz player talking. I remember that.
Okay.
I
Because
remember.
I thought he
yeah.
said that he just used whatever he could to fire himself up.
There's
You know what I'm saying?
there's a
And-
lot of stories about Jordan doing similar stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's
The
there's
second he
tons
like
of
turned that
story-
on,
Oh, yeah, you guys have probably seen that. I'm the only one who hasn't seen the.
Oh, you got to watch
it's on
it then.
Netflix. There's no
The
excuse.
Last
now.
Dance?
I haven't
Yeah.
watched The Last Dance because I was there. I remember.
That's fair.
Oh,
I was
well.
there. I wanted to reminisce. I saw
There's
most
a little
of it.
bit more insight as to the dynamic
it's
of the
really-
team.
Yeah. No, I know. I know it's really good, but 10 episodes is a lot.
Speaking of
for me
Michael
to
Jordan,
watch. Like, he was
Episode.
never my
I
favorite.
got that same
Hey,
shirt.
look at the shirt.
Oh,
Space
nice.
Jam. All right.
Yeah, Space Jam.
Oh, Space Jam 2 is coming out.
I've
Yeah.
I've never seen Space Jam.
You should.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, you
What?
should. It's so good. It's so good. Every chance
Yeah.
I can watch it with the kids, I sit down and I
You missed
Get
out on a
enamored by it.
childhood.
so good.
Oh, I did. Yeah, there's a whole list of movies and stuff of like stuff I just haven't seen.
Oh goodness.
So,
Deprived.
What?
you're
I can
making
only
me look like a
imagine.
No, it wasn't
bad
your
father.
fault.
I can only imagine who raised you.
I only had him half the time. I'll say that.
It was the other half. So.
It's fair. If you had twice as much time, he would have seen Space Jam.
Yeah,
There you go.
he's
I would have
seen
seen these movies.
he's seen half the good movies that are out there. That's
Yeah,
what I can
right?
tell you.
Yeah, that's all you can ask.
It's funny.
I do though. I keep seeing this TikTok of this poster from IMDb that's like the 100 greatest movies of all time, and every single time you watch them, you take a quarter and you like scratch off, and it leaves like a little like
Good for you.
image or something
Oh.
of like that relates to the movie.
Oh,
And I want to get that and do that and go through that list.
say that
think
again.
would be so cool.
I'm
IMDb.
confused.
That's on
I
well,
think it's IMDb. But
I
I don't
have
know.
to.
The poster of the 100 greatest movies of all time, and it's
100.
like a scratch, like a lottery.
Okay.
And
So after you
every-
watch it, you learn like something special about it, or
No, you
what?
don't.
no,
scratch
you just
off.
scratch it off, and you're like, I watched the movie.
And then it
Oh,
has like
okay.
and then
Alright.
it has like something about the movie to remind you that that was the movie. So the
it.
Godfather might have.
Yeah.
Is it? Is
I think it
just
was like an outline of Brando.
Okay.
Like the iconic, like the over the shoulder jacket pose.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The table or whatever, or no?
Right. At the desk
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Petting the cat.
You come to me on my
Yeah.
daughter's
My daughter's wedding.
wedding.
Yeah.
But like, I think there was
Christmas is coming.
There was a
So
I
cocky
think-
players. No.
yeah. I was trying because
Segue.
Well, I assume The Godfather's number
So-
one, right?
I don't remember.
Is The Godfather number one? What do we assume?
You guys, I think so.
100 greatest movies of all time.
Or Shawshank.
Shawshank's up there. Yeah.
Ooh. For me, Shawshank might.
Yeah.
Oh,
Me
I'm
too.
just saying. I'm not saying like for
No. I'm saying
us
up there.
necessarily.
Yeah,
Right,
my
right,
personal take, I probably wouldn't put Godfather 1, but many do. Yeah.
sure
Right.
probably
I could
is.
see-
That's what I'm
I
saying.
I would assume
Yeah.
it's.
I thought The
Yeah.
Godfather was really boring.
didn't-
Yeah, I agree. I like it was. It wouldn't even reach my top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when he goes to Italy.
Yeah.
That's-
I was just thinking that in my
But I mean-
I
head.
just want to fall asleep.
I get why people.
Yeah, I've
rank it
never
so
watched
high.
the whole thing. I've only watched clips online.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
on
That's
YouTube.
probably
yeah,
enough.
That's enough.
Yeah, and the best
Not
parts,
missing
and I.
Yeah, you're really not. There's a part. Never mind. Anyway, so cocky players,
Cocky players.
cocky sports players. Who is the cockiest Bill of all time?
I got one.
Cockiest Bill of all time. Was
Yes.
is that what you just
You
asked?
guys ready? Are you ready?
No,
go ahead,
cocky is
CJ.
Buffalo Bill, not like a guy
Okay.
named Bill.
Oh, not the
Bill
cockiest
Russell.
Buffalo Bill. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with.
Bill Russell was not.
I know.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say Stevie Johnson,
Ooh,
cockiest
that's a good
Bill.
one.
Ooh.
Give me a better one.
well, there's two I can think of now that
All
you
right,
brought
go
up
ahead.
Stevie.
How long do they have to be on the team?
Oh,
Just
a year, full year.
full season. How's that?
Yep.
Okay.
Because
So no Jordan Matthews. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he's out.
I was just about to bring it full circle.
I was about to.
okay.
I was.
So well,
Ooh,
you got one based on Stevie? Is it who I think it is?
Darius.
Cockiest?
Marcel Darius? Was he even media friendly though? Like, did we know?
No, he was
cocky?
awful.
Yeah, he was awful, but he said, but it was because he was like, "I'm good," and he
Yeah,
wasn't.
He did kind of feel as though he deserved.
That's why he
Yeah.
got kicked off the team.
I'm with
I
you.
mean, he was
Okay.
late to a
He
team
got
meeting.
kicked off the team for having an ego. I don't know that makes you cocky necessarily. I feel like there's a difference between being a jerk and being super cocky.
Where does the ego come from, though?
Okay, so
It comes from being right, like it's the old saying, right? Like that everyone wants to talk about with sports players. That drives me crazy that these players are, from the time they're 6 years old, they're raised
Yeah.
and
Got it.
adored and all
Gotcha.
of that. So, I mean, you would think that it's the same with him. He was probably 200 pounds when he was 8.
Yeah, they're like, you're gonna be amazing.
Right.
I think that the most simplistic way to probably put it is that everybody has an ego, but not everybody is cocky.
I was thinking that ego is unwarranted cockiness.
Well, everyone has
cockiness is-
does-
Yeah, I was gonna say an unchecked ego is cockiness, right? So like if you
Have your ego in check,
Yeah.
you can have your ego, but without the cockiness.
right, it's kind of how I looked at it.
Who's the cockiest out of the four of us?
Oh man, if you ever see me in a game, I'd probably say myself. But
When I'm being competitive, I'd probably say me.
Oh,
But
so
my
we're all
normal
like
demeanor-
that.
Yeah.
You haven't seen. Oh,
That's
me and no
funny.
one know how we get. So that's funny.
Awesome.
Okay, so we'll have to get together and play some.
Anything. I don't care. I'll compete.
yeah,
with
yeah,
anything.
yeah, for sure.
You want to draw
Beanbag.
straws? I'll whoop that butt. Like, it doesn't
What's
matter.
it called?
Oh, cornhole.
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 I love a cornhole
Absolutely.
competition.
So.
What?
What?
I have to be confident in my abilities to be cocky, though.
Yeah,
Like if
Yeah,
I'm not
That's hard
good
for
at
me to
playing
be cocky about
something,
something
like
that I'm
I'm,
all right at.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like I'm very self-aware in that regard. If I suck
exactly.
at something, I'm not gonna be like, I'm the best.
Yeah,
Because
right.
Clearly, I'm
That's-
awful.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I hate people
I'll
that do
smack
that.
talk anything. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it'll be self-deprecating.
I tell you, I'm the loudest on the slow pitch softball field. Tell you right now.
See, and I've been there, and
You know?
I've done
That's
that.
true.
Like I've actually tried
Volleyball. Yeah.
with volleyball. They kicked me off the team.
I consider myself one of those guys that they say like a kind of like a Richard Sherman, where like if he's on your team, you love him, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing against him,
Yeah.
you hate the guy. That's how I look at
Yeah.
myself.
Let's not forget T.O. played for the Bills for a season.
Who?
T.O.
What?
Oh,
T.O. played for the Bills for an entire season.
Oh,
That's who
yeah.
I wrote down. Was
That's a
was
good
Did you?
one.
Great minds think
Owens.
alike.
I have a TO
forgot
jersey.
though he was on the Bills, but
That's
I have
who I-
him on my
that's who I
list of
thought-
cocky players.
That's who
Yeah,
I
that's a
thought
good
you were
one.
gonna pull.
I forgot he was on the Bills.
So my pick is Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But beyond Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, I think, was cockier.
Thurman wasn't.
Thurman
Yeah.
fell asleep at the draft, did he? Live TV fell asleep. Waiting on
No,
it?
he was pissed.
Thurman fell asleep.
Yeah, but didn't he do it on purpose?
Well, yeah.
Well,
I thought it
He
was like an
the
intentional,
cameras are
like
still
I'm bored
on
of
me.
this.
They're still making a spectacle. I'm just going to pretend I'm asleep. I thought that was the
he
story.
wasn't faking.
Oh. Well,
He
maybe he
went to
was in the
sleep.
beginning and then he actually fell asleep.
Yeah.
You know who I consider probably one of the cockiest athletes of all time, but at the same time, his greatness allowed for him to be as cocky as he flipping wanted to be?
Tiger Woods.
No,
Kobe?
not Kobe either. Older. Think boxing.
Older.
Oh,
Oh,
Muhammad?
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Well,
one
of
of my
course.
favorite quotes of his was, "I'm not
I
the
am the
greatest,
greatest."
I'm the double greatest. Not only do I
Yeah.
knock him out, I pick the round."
Oof.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. It's cool.
But
I
Tiger
mean,
was
is
too,
he
especially
the
early
cockiest
Tiger.
athlete of all time?
Yeah, did we
Phenomenal, yeah.
switch? Did we switch or Paul, you didn't give us your bill yet?
Yeah, mine was T.
That's true.
His was Owens.
I threw mine in his T.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Who'd you have?
there it is.
There. Oh yeah, you lose.
So I mean, is Ali the cockiest athlete of all time?
I don't know. Something can be said for Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Floyd.
But okay,
See,
but
Floyd.
hold
Noah
on.
and I were having the Floyd discussion.
hold on. But are they more cocky than Ali was, or are they just on the same level?
Yeah, they
I
just
think-
following his tread.
Right. Are they just doing what he did?
I
Right.
think in based upon the era. See, and this is where I go into ego, douchebaggery, cockiness, right? Because, like, I think, like, okay, Ali's cockiness was an act to a point. Like, he knew how to put on a show and knew how to get the most out of any moment he was in. So when he's there on Monday Night Football and, you know, he's talking to what's his
Madden?
big,
I don't know.
not Madden,
I don't know.
Howard Cosell.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Him and Cosell were like tight, you know?
Oh.
And so like when he's there and he's like there at halftime talking to Cosell, like he lights up the room and just immediately makes everything better, you know? And so like that's what I think about with Ali was like he was a showman as much as he was a cockiness. Is McGregor a showman or just a jerk?
The way he
I don't know
walks
because I've
makes me
seen
think he's a
interviews with
showman.
him and like where he's like talking about like his vodka and like doing like normal sit down interviews and he's like not like that. He's just like talks. But if he's
Yeah.
doing like something,
Well, have you
with-
seen interviews with Kanye?
well, Kanye is different though because Kanye.
I'm gonna let
is
you
Kanye.
finish.
I mean, he said he's a god. He said his alter ego is a god. Yee. So or yay.
Yeah,
or
that's not
whatever.
that's not like made, right? Like that's different to me, right? Because that's not a made like persona. You know, a lot of
No,
the
he's
UFC
just
No,
guys.
crazy.
he actually
Yeah.
believes that.
Yeah, he believes
That's what I'm
it,
saying.
yeah.
A lot of these UFC guys, I mean, since you talk about McGregor, you know, a lot of these guys have to be the heel to get
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you like, I don't know if you guys know who Kobe Covington is, but he's probably one of the most hated UFC guys just because of his takes. I think when he won in Brazil, he was just like, oh, all you dirty Brazilians, you know what I mean? You guys are whatever. And so he just ripped apart, and but from that point on, he got more views. People wanted to watch his fights. I think the UFC had told him before that, like, hey, we're going to cut you. You just don't have any charisma. You don't have anything that people want to watch. And then he came out and said that. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's getting these big fights and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it with that is like pre-made, like premeditated. You know what I mean?
Well, if we want to talk about somebody in UFC who has no showmanship and is just cocky to be cocky, that's Nate Diaz to a T.
I think
he just
yeah.
I'd
I
give
mean,
you
you
Nate
look at where
Diaz.
he's from, but where, like, to me, that's different because where Nate is from, right? How he grew up compared to some other guys makes him the way he is. Now, I don't know if that to me doesn't come off as cocky as much as it just comes off as like, that's how you are from the people that where you're from, basically. I mean, it's hard to understand, but I get what you're saying, but I don't view that as cocky as much.
Well, everybody that's either cocky or confident or anything has a story. And I think that if you piece it together, you could make an argument for anyone to kind of hang that on the environment or their nurturing or their environment. So I get what you're saying, CJ, but like you said, I also get what Noah is saying. I think that if you're cocky, but you back it up,
side with
like you're the
CJ on
best
this
at
one.
what you do and you back it up and you're cocky on top of that, I don't have a problem with it. My problem comes when you're cocky and you don't back it up. But I do see how where you're from, what you went through, how that could put a chip on your shoulder. But I don't think that necessarily, you can put two people in the same situation and they're going to come out of it differently, right? Like one could make an argument that Josh Allen hearing no from 998 colleges and only hearing yes from 2 would be the kind of adversity that could lead to somebody being cocky. But I think we would all agree that there's many things that Josh Allen is. I don't know that I would use cocky at this point to describe him in any way, shape, or form. You give another player, let's say,
Well, that's where a chip on your shoulder versus cockiness comes in, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to too, though, is like, if, like you said, Paul, you know what I mean, like backing it up, but to a deeper like aspect, like if these guys are like, that's to me what irks me the most, is where there's a guy that isn't as good as he thinks he is, but talks that way. You know what I mean? So like with the
Like
Allen
Conor
situation,
McGregor.
yeah. Well, I mean, 5 years ago we could have said it, but not now.
Oh yeah, current Conor McGregor can't back it up.
Yeah,
Conor
yeah,
McGregor
but,
3 to 5 years ago, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, but does the highest grossing athlete deserve to be cocky, right? And
That's
I say
Mayweather,
so.
though, isn't it?
No, that
used to be.
McGregor.
McGregor's past him.
Yeah, 190.
I think that happened recently, like
yeah,
maybe a year and a half ago or something like that.
No, that was.
I think you have every
That
right
was-
to be cocky if the only
Nice.
time I ever watch UFC is when Conor McGregor is fighting.
True. And again,
Transcendent.
that's a persona, though. You know what I mean? That's part of
Oh, yeah.
the
Because-
show. That's got to be, because you've seen the difference. I've
In the vodka
personally like
commercials.
seen. Yeah, well, I've seen. So if you watched his last fight with Poirier, right, and then you watched his earlier fights with give me a guy. You could say Diaz. You could say
Even when he fought McGregor, you remember that? Or, not when he fought McGregor. When he
Mayweather.
fought Mayweather. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
I went to the
that was
casino for
borderline
that.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Though. That was like the way
that
he
was-
spoke about like black people to me was borderline disgusting. I hated that. Like I loathed how he acted at those pressers.
I think that was some cross promotional marketing.
no, it was
at
100%.
work there.
100%.
I don't know that that's something he truly feels.
No,
because he's
I
never given
agree.
me that vibe any other time.
No,
I'm
I
not
agree.
discounting it. Like if that's who he is, then
No, but like to go that low to sell tickets is beyond me, right? So I don't think like that. So when I can't comprehend why somebody does things, like I automatically say to myself, okay, like that's I stay away from it because I don't want to condone it. I don't want to say that he's wrong, and I don't want to say he's right. You know, so I
That's fair.
question it. Okay, I stay away from somebody I got to question. But so again, so going back to the Poirier situation, he was the nicest guy I've ever seen him be when he fought Poirier. Like then beforehand, oh, give me a bottle of hot sauce. Oh, I'll get you a bottle of whiskey. I've never seen him react that way. You know, I've never seen him act that way at a presser or anything. And then he got
also because Poirier was nice to him too.
Right, but he got his a whooped, right? He got his butt whooped in that fight, and now it's going back to like, oh, I got to be this mean guy. I got to, you know. So I don't know. I think it really just shows just kind of that he's got a switch there somewhere, and it can turn it on and turn it off. You know what I mean? And
I think if he would have won, I bet he kept up with the nice guy persona, and then he did like 3 more fights and was like, bye.
Yeah, everybody loves me. Yeah.
Right.
So it's pretty well known that there's about 3 golfers in the world who could stand Tiger Woods. So do we just assume Tiger Woods is the cockiest golfer of all time?
Yeah, I mean,
follow golf. I mean,
yeah, Mickelson doesn't strike me as cocky. Like
actually,
I've always
he was considered really cocky when he was younger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But,
well, from what I've seen when he's been older,
I mean,
yeah,
he's still cocky now, but he is not as cocky as Tiger.
Right. That's what I put it on. I put them on the. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
if you're putting that on the spectrum and saying there's a Tiger spectrum and a
yeah.
So
because I mean, Tiger did the stuff that MJ did, where he would bet on holes and stuff. Like betting $10,000 on a hole.
Yeah,
but not during events.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's just make that clear.
Well,
We're not accusing Tiger Woods of Pete Rose doing Pete Rose stuff here. But speaking of Pete Rose, I would make him fairly cocky. I don't know how, but to sit there on television over and over again and say I never bet on gambling, and then go, never mind, I'll tell you the truth. Like 20 years later.
And Clemens.
Yeah. No, that reminds me of the Gretzky situation. You know what I mean? Just like, I mean, obviously there's never been any definitive proof whether he bet on games or not, but I think that just shows how much he felt that he was good enough that he could do things like that. You know what I mean? And I think
when the proof came out with Rose that against his teams, though, at certain points.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's when I think he was really banned for life.
Right.
Like that's when they said for life. You know, they're like, no, you don't get around that.
Yeah.
But. I mean, with Gretzky, the rumor was he just bet on himself, right?
Yeah. Well, that to me shows what we're getting at, right? So if you feel that confident, you know, that's showing it. You know what I mean?
You're
like
confident enough to put
that's not just
money
talking.
On yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can be as cocky as you want
behind closed doors. No, behind closed doors though. We're not talking about in front of people where people can see this.
Yeah.
You know, and then like that's the persona, right? This is behind closed doors where nobody is seeing what's going on. And he feels the exact same way as he portrays himself, right? So he feels as confident as he portrays himself, right? Obviously.
I mean, isn't Gretzky kind of like one of those silent, like D-bag guys? Like,
I don't know. I don't remember a lot about Gretzky when I was young because it was. I mean, I know that him and his dad kind of forced the trade to Los Angeles. But I mean, he was raised by his dad to be great. I mean, he had a big father influence like Tiger did, in the sense that
I bet a lot of these cocky players
they were
actually.
Yeah.
But they were pushed, and they were pushed really hard. You know, to be great. I mean, but Gretzky saw the game in a way that no player, I think, has ever seen it. Yeah, or maybe ever will. I mean,
I don't.
Though McDavid,
some of those records getting broken though.
McDavid might have broken his record in an 82 game season. I seriously believe that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting 100 plus points,
105 points in 54
games.
Yeah. So. But I don't. I mean, I don't think his goals. What did he have? 99 in one season or something.
Yeah.
And 199 points in one season. But, I mean, yeah, his records are insane. But, I think they could get broken. But I don't know. There are
I think
records out
if
there
they're gonna get
that are
broken,
more
I still
difficult
think it's coming.
to break. You mean it hasn't been broken yet?
Well, no, like that. The next Gretzky isn't here yet. I don't think we're gonna see it.
I think
until,
McDavid is the closest thing since Gretzky to
Yes.
Gretzky.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying, like, but he isn't Gretzky. You know, I'm saying
Right.
we are definitely going to see another NHL player of Gretzky's caliber. Probably within the next 30 years.
I don't know. There's some 15-year-old who plays right now. I forget his name, but he's supposed to be awesome. He'll be
In 2 years now.
three. He's 3 years
Let me
away.
guess, he's from Canada. No.
3 drafts away. Hey, speaking of hockey drafts in the OHL, no, who had their draft?
One of the
Which agent? It was the OHL. Yeah. So the OHL minor league hockey drafted a kid from Hamburg as the first pick overall. 15-year-old.
That's why Hamburg was being mentioned earlier in my mentions. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to read it. I was busy at work today.
I was busy too.
Me too.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
40,
Hamburg's
50 messages in the group chat. You guys were real busy today.
Always time for that.
Sure. Okay.
Just because I'm texting and doing something that's distracting me from work.
Yeah,
doesn't mean I'm
Noah's
not
that
busy.
generation. Just remember that. So,
I
I'm
was
the generation
texting you
who's-
guys on a Zoom call today.
I'm the generation who still types on their phone like this, with
Yeah.
one finger instead of the thumbs. I'm like the last of the non-thumb phone generation. So,
It's good to
So-
have your input too.
well, I'm here.
It's
Yeah.
T9
No,
input. He has to hit the
I-
key 3 times.
We need
I
those.
think we have, like a good separation of age between us to talk about.
Yeah, we really
Yeah.
hit multiple demographics, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wild.
I think Aaron Hernandez was fairly cocky.
Oh God, yeah. And those again,
Mhm.
so these are things that are done behind closed doors, right?
Yes.
Right. And so it proves who they really are, though. Like I think,
Nope,
when you
absolutely.
find out things like that, you realize like, oh my God, this guy had another level to it. Like,
Yeah.
where he thought he could do these things
Right.
without repercussions. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's a wild one.
You know who was really cocky, but had the ability to back it up because he's one of the best to ever do it? Deion Sanders.
Oh, I
Oh,
can't believe he didn't come up till now. We talked about him early. I
Yeah.
think CJ brought him up, but
Yeah.
we talked about talking about him. But
Yeah, he was my top guy. That's who I had went with too. But I felt like he was such a
late.
obvious pick. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just like, we'll just.
We
we'll
saved
just-
him towards
nah.
the end then.
Yeah, we just won't do it.
He just
So
isn't.
So I have the first female we can talk about, and that's
Ooh.
Serena Williams.
Oh, again, that's the whole like, how many chips do you need to win
Well-
before you can be as cocky as you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have other females who you could throw on there?
Well, when you're top in the
Um,
her that's
The
tough.
entire U.S. women's national soccer team.
US
Tanya Harding.
women's soccer. Was she cocky or was she
Hope Solo?
jealous?
No. Yeah.
Hope Solo. I can. I'll back that. Yeah. Abby Wambach.
Yeah.
You know who was cocky? What's her UFC fighter? She went to the WWE for a minute.
Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda
Oh.
Rousey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
But she
for
got
sure.
smacked in the mouth and quit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kinda
I'm out of
funny
here. I'm
how-
gonna go fake fight now.
Well, it's kind of funny
Right.
how a lot of women haven't done what she's done since, though. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
like
True.
a lot of there's better fighters than her out right now, but as far as garnering attention, like they don't have what she had when she was around. You know what I mean?
hmm
Yeah, I mean if she had, I don't know. I mean the only woman that I can even think of in USC UFC is
USC.
Cyborg. The Cyborg. What's her name?
Yeah.
That's her name, Cyborg. I mean, I can't think of her real name right now, but
That's her Yeah, that's her nickname. But like,
yeah.
Does she
The
have
only-
one eye?
no.
Okay, that would have
No,
been.
she
cool.
looks like a
But, like,
dude
her-
though. Like she looks like a guy.
Yeah.
Like
And
Is
I'm
she
a
the one in the
butcher this.
commercial?
She's scary. No, I don't.
she is
Okay.
scary.
I think. Well, she's got a suit. She's known as Chris Cyborg, but
Okay.
I believe her birth name, if I'm looking correctly, is Christian Venancio. Yeah,
All right.
That was good. That sounded good to me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Brazilian.
You know,
I didn't know
Brazilian.
she was Brazilian.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh,
Yep.
that
We haven't
makes
even
Explains-
sense.
talked about
Brazilian.
soccer
Explains the last
players,
Yeah.
which
Right.
Noah whispered in my ear, but we haven't talked about soccer players.
Well, I was only going to talk about soccer players because we were talking about people that came.
internationally.
Well, no, CJ was bringing up. I don't remember who we were talking about.
Nate Diaz.
Yes, and he was bringing up the people who come from upbringings, kind of, and I wanted to bring up soccer players because
Yeah, they're probably some of those guys are from the lowest of the low.
Mhm.
So
But, like,
Noah's
those
got
guys
a
are
big
also
list who
hockey.
haven't been mentioned.
as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I like this list. A-Rod,
A-Rod's a good one.
Joe Namath, Chad Johnson.
Name
Do we think Tom Brady has reached cocky status?
No.
No,
You don't think he's cocky, flashing all
He's
the
reached
rings
God.
all the time?
So I think, see, I didn't use the banned word, but he's reached allowed to be.
Did anybody see his recent TikTok where he broke down like 3 plays of his own film, including the infamous? Oh, is it 4th down? What?
Yeah,
He was like,
Yeah.
I
He
was
broke that down.
genuinely confused.
Amazing.
yeah.
I laughed
Like,
and I hated
had
it.
no idea what was going on.
Yeah, he admitted it. He's like, that's the most confused I've ever been in my entire life.
My entire 18-year career. He's like,
Yeah.
That was so great. It made me like him a little bit, and I threw up in my mouth.
he should be on the list.
Yeah.
Come on.
No one wants to put Isaiah Thomas on the list. He wants to put Shaq on the list.
IT should be on the list. I could see Shaq
Yeah.
on the list too.
Isaiah
Oh
Thomas.
my God, he sat there in Last Dance and basically said he was better than Jordan the entire
Yeah,
time.
he
they
definitely
talked to him.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was,
And
he was better than Jordan
the
until
entire time.
he was better than Jordan until he wasn't.
Okay, but he's
Yeah.
not better than Jordan, so stop thinking that you are.
Well, yeah, when you lost that championship
lost.
that year, yeah. Yep. They beat
I'd
him
like
the
to-
first
to
year,
Jordan.
and then they beat him
But
the next
he
year.
beat them first.
He beat them
Okay,
first,
and then
yeah.
Jordan. Okay, but then Jordan. Okay, he beat.
But then they
them,
dominated
what,
for 10 more
twice,
years.
and
so-
then the Bulls
yeah.
went on and won 3 championships, and then Jordan
Hold on,
retired,
hold on.
came back and won 3 more.
You don't have to yell at me, okay? Like I was there. You
to
guys
the
have all
corner.
seen The Last Dance. I get it. Like, but
We've all seen the
but-
last thing.
so
You don't get to say you're better than somebody who beat you and then won more championships than you, and was just better
Well, look at
in
the
his
like,
career.
I'm
look at
saying
the Rodman situation though. Like, right when Rodman
Right.
went from, you know what I mean? Like that was huge. So, like you can't.
speaking of
cannot
cocky
say-
players,
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
but I mean, like, what happened with Detroit was all of their players left.
Mhm.
Okay, then he should have gone on and won a championship again.
Jordan didn't win a championship when he was playing in Washington.
Okay, but if you're gonna sit there,
I mean, you can. I mean, we can do this if you really want to. But Jordan didn't win a championship as a rookie. He, I mean, he was cut from his high school basketball, right? I mean, we can do all this stuff, right?
Isaiah.
I'm not saying Isaiah Thomas is better than Jordan.
No,
I'm
but
not.
but I
But at
understand
a
that.
point in their careers, he had the right to say he was better than Jordan.
Yes,
because
but he still
was.
believes it.
Well, that's his problem.
Okay, but then he belongs on the list then.
Okay, we'll call it retired Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Noah put Shannon Sharp on there.
Shannon Sharp. Yeah, I would give you
still
Shannon
to this
Sharp.
day.
Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
that Julio call, by the way. You got to be cocky to try to pull that off.
Right.
I think he knew about it.
Yeah.
Grayson
Grayson Allen.
If he
I
knew
just
about
know
it,
as-
I think that says something about Julio, though. Like, that's a bad look if it's intentional. Like, if you knew that and you went into that conversation and that was staged and then you said that before the team could even, that doesn't scream. Like, Julio's been such this quiet person for like his entire career. So to know that he would be part of something like that seems less likely. Not that it's not likely, not that it's not possible.
So was Diggs until he wasn't.
That's true. I am of the belief that everything that was said about Diggs previously had some merit, but that
It had
getting out of that
100%
situation. Okay, I was trying to be kind because
I will tell you that, like, directly again.
Yeah.
I think I brought this up, but my boss lived in Minnesota for a very long time. He just moved out of Minnesota like recently, but and he said, man, Diggs was unbearable and impossible to deal with. And I remember when the Bills picked him up, like he was smack talking us and all that stuff,
And then he led the league.
and then he let
And they didn't even make the playoffs. So
and he restructured his deal.
Yeah.
And they had to have 2 wide receivers to even have stats remotely close to Diggs.
Yeah.
Oh, Jefferson is gonna be pretty good, I think.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
if you had to put Jefferson and Thielen together for them to even match.
Yep. Okay, so ready, rapid fire. What do we think of the changes with the Celtics? Do we know the changes with the Celtics?
I heard it in passing. I'm refreshing myself right now.
Okay, so Danny Ainge retired as the president and GM, and Brad Stevens, former coach, is now the president and GM, and they now have a coaching search being run by Brad Stevens.
I'm good with it.
Noah, huge Celtics fan. Your take?
I'm okay with it because I know who Brad Stevens is. I think if they went outside, then I would be nervous. Like if they hired, I don't know, I'm not going to pronounce his name right, so I'm just going to say the Toronto GM who's thinking about leaving. Like if they waited for that.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
like I would be more worried about that just
But he's
because. No, I know he's
Okay.
good, but I'm saying there's a difference to me between with the Celtics where they have the pieces in place. They just need a little bit more.
Okay.
And I feel like if you're bringing an outside force into that already doesn't know what's going on with the team,
Yep.
they're gonna want to change things, and things don't really need to be changed. They just need a guy
You know what,
who
we'll
can
see.
rebound that is tall.
What
They
we'll
need a
see-
center.
What we'll see is who Brad Stevens liked and who he didn't like,
That's also true.
which
Yes.
I think will be very interesting. So,
I have a feeling.
okay, hockey. Anything anyone wants to say about hockey?
Mark Scheifele is a dick.
Except he's not. It was just a
And-
terrible hit.
That was awful.
That's awful. You get to be certified a dick for that hit. You know
Yeah.
what you did.
Capital D. Little
And Nikolai
I.
Ehlers, good on him.
He
Good on him.
all right, but Scheifele is not a repeat offender.
I understand Scheifele's not a repeat offender, but still, that's still a dick move. That shouldn't have happened.
I agree.
Neither
agree.
was Timothy McVeigh.
Well, it's what we keep saying.
Hello, now.
They weren't cocky until they were. They
That's
weren't
right.
this until they were.
They
I got
weren't
another one.
homicidal until they
Wait.
were.
I read a quote. I read a quote today that Ricky Martin is upset. Okay, like living La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin is upset that he's not getting acting roles, and he thinks it's because he's gay, and that he's being discriminated against.
Or it's
Now
just
we're
that he's not
talking.
good at acting.
It's just,
This is what I've been waiting on, dude, all night.
He's like, I've been waiting for the Ricky Martin combo.
The Ricky
Yep.
Martin. conversation. So speaking of cocky, his acting skills, his acting skills have not
Go
been
ahead, break
put
it down.
to use appropriately, apparently, since he believes he's an Academy Award-winning actor. Apparently,
I have a feeling we could go through a lot of people in Hollywood and have a very long list of people who are cocky.
Yeah, I think most of them. Like this, they would be most of them.
Right.
So,
honorable mention to the cocky thing, by the way, to Kid Rock for the song "Cocky." He even says in the song, they say I'm cocky and I say what? It ain't bragging mother effer if you back it up.
All right. So, all right. Kid Rock versus Fred Durst.
Ooh, is the question, who's cocky or who's the bigger D-bag?
Both.
Kid Rock's cockier, Fred Durst is the bigger D-bag.
Yeah.
CJ's like, who are these guys?
Yeah, no.
Or do you just not have an opinion? Let's throw Ricky Martin in there. Okay. Who wants to wrap it up? Noah usually wraps it up.
Yeah.
But is there anything else to discuss before we wrap it up?
I do want to end with this. Anyone that hasn't already seen some of the clips from OTAs today, I want you guys to go check out your Twitter feed and look for a video of Josh Allen and Mitchell Trubisky throwing a football today, because the difference you can see with your naked eye between the velocity, the arc, and the spiral on Josh Allen's ball compared to Trubisky's is crazy. Like, it's
Josh
so black and
Allen's
white.
balls
Like, you could,
are a lot faster than Trubisky's balls.
And Josh Allen still
and that's why it looks better in shorts.
Yeah, he's got great balls, dude. Yeah,
He does have great balls.
Got some great
got
balls.
big hands,
He looks
too.
good at shorts.
And
he gets it out really fast.
Trubisky has
I
a
had-
really long
listen.
throwing motion.
He really
I had
does.
a guy.
He, like,
I had my buddy came over a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember what we were looking at and stuff. And and he's like, "Oh, Have you heard? Have you heard anybody say that Josh Allen has one of the nicest butts in the NFL?" And I'm just like, "This is a grown man that said this to me." And
I thought you were saying female.
No, this is a grown man. And I said, what? I said, do you feel like he has the best or the best in the NFL? And he's like, no, I've heard this from a lot of different women. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Like,
thanks for bringing that up.
yeah,
Where
dude.
do
I
we
was
go?
like, I had to tell you guys.
So anyway,
How
I
do
was
we
like,
segue
what?
this conversation?
You're right.
I mean, now that I look at it, yeah. But,
Yeah.
No,
No, it
he's got a
reminds me
dump.
of
he does.
it reminds me of
it's a fact.
do you guys watch the Marvel movies? I
Of course.
assume.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When
America's ass.
Captain America's like, that is America's ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love that
So,
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Was that Civil War?
No. It
It
was
was an Endgame.
It was an Endgame, yeah. It was when they went back in time.
Yeah, the time heist. Yep.
Yeah,
He had to
He
beat himself up, and then he was
Yep.
like, Tony was right.
No, it was Ant-Man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more funny.
Yeah. So, all right. CJ, anything else to tell us? Any other?
Nope,
good
that was
stories?
it.
All
got
right, the
any-
one sauce story. Okay.
You got anything to hype up the people for
That was
next
my
week's
wrap
show?
up. Now go take a look at some pictures and tell me
That's
what
good.
you.
That works for me.
Go look at Josh Allen's ass.
You're right. That's our viewers' homework.
Yeah.
Look at Josh Allen's ass.
Look
Check
at the
out
spiral.
Ricky Martin's.
Look at the ass.
Look at Ricky Martin's acting. All of this
Yeah.
stuff. What you got for us, Paul?
I don't know that I could top that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cop out. Noah, wrap us up.
All right. That is the end
Do
of
you want to
this
be on top
episode.
of that though?
That's a cop out.
that's the end of the episode. As always, we appreciate you for watching. We appreciate you for listening and following along with us and our antics. You can always find us on Twitter at Gameday716. Check out our website, Gameday716.com.
That will be
We
updated at some
spent
point.
time on it.
Catch up in the meantime.
Yeah. And with that said, as we always say, stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time.
Yep.